I just think it was nice that I kind of went in without any friends. I think that's all I want to talk about in regards to Greek life. The percentage of like rich people that are there. And I actually came into college like pre-med, pre-physical therapy. Really glad I chose umiami. I moved right after my freshman year to Brickell. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Look at Leo in the corner making his appearance. But we're doing a sit down video today. I haven't done one of these in a while, like a little like college advice type video. So I'm really excited. I have not been vlogging recently, which is why I haven't posted in like 12 days, which is crazy for me. I'm back in Miami, clearly. I was at my parents' house for a while, honestly. And I don't know, I just was like not feeling my best. And when I'm like not feeling my best, I don't really want to be staring at myself, editing footage of myself and like filming myself, you know what I mean? But anyway, today we are going to talk all things umiami, college advice, life advice, all that type of stuff. I've made a few of these in the past. They're okay. I think I give decent advice, I hope, but like now I'm a junior at the University of Miami and I think I kind of know a lot more what the deal is and what's going on and stuff, and I feel like I could give much better advice than I gave back then because I came into UM like in a very weird way. One, it was COVID time, so everything was just strange. But also, as a freshman, I stayed home my first semester. Then my second semester, I lived in Lakeside Village as a freshman. I had my car somehow as a freshman, and I lived alone. I also never ate at the dining hall. So all things that like are extremely abnormal and like I feel like don't happen your freshman year. But regardless, I'm gonna try to give you guys some advice. If you have any questions or anything like that for like future little sit down videos or any ideas, definitely leave them below. Like just leave a comment, or you can DM me on Instagram. I really still feel like to this day that I can't give good advice on the freshman experience because I had the strangest freshman experience, I feel like, of all time, and it was not normal. Like the fact that I lived alone and I lived in Lakeside and I had my car is just like not normal. I also like staying home my first semester because of COVID, and then coming in my second semester, I rushed a sorority. So I immediately like had a ton of girls reaching out to me wanting to hang out. So I also feel like that was normal. I knew like hardly anybody in my class or whatever, not my class, like my grade, I guess. I knew no other freshmen at the time. And so I kind of met literally everyone through my sorority. So I definitely had a strange experience. Also, it kind of gets even stranger because I usually like sophomore year and onwards, it's pretty normal to live off campus immediately starting sophomore year. Most people move to thesis or GP or like or Lifetime or any of the little like college apartment buildings around campus. Some people live in Lakeside, which is on campus, stuff like that, or some people still live in the dorms and stuff. I once again decided to be extremely strange and weird, and I moved to Brickell, which is the city, which is much further away from campus. But I moved right after my freshman year to Brickell and have been living here in this apartment ever since, if you've been watching the vlogs. So once again, I also think that's really weird. So I don't know, I feel like I don't give the best, probably won't give the best college experience advice because I don't know, I'm weird. I also like, even in Greek life, I feel like I don't do Greek life right. Not that there's a right way to do it, but like, I'm not super involved in Greek life. I don't go out a lot. Like I literally couldn't tell you like how the frats are and stuff because I don't go, and I never really have. Like I think freshman year, I went to a couple pool parties and stuff to try to, you know, oh wait, sorry, getting a text. So I don't know, I definitely think I didn't have the typical umiami experience, but at the same time, I definitely don't think there like is a right way to do anything, and I kind of just think whatever you want to do is like what you should kind of do in college, or honestly during any time. Sometimes I'm like, I really am doing like the umiami experience very differently, but at the same time it doesn't really matter, and this is kind of what I want to do, and it's worked out really well and I really love it. So I don't know, I don't think there is any really right way or normal way to be doing any of it. I also have a dog, and I got him my freshman year of college. I didn't live with him on campus. He stayed with my parents, but like that's also, I feel like, a little abnormal to get a dog so young into college. He's quite the responsibility, but I love him so much. I thought we could start with Greek life because I'm pretty sure recruitment, sorority recruitment, is going on right now. Oh, hi, why do you want to play right now? Okay. And so I honestly wish I could have got this video out a little bit earlier because I could give you guys some advice on recruitment and like on Greek life and stuff. But I'm gonna give you basically the whole rundown on my thoughts, my opinions, my experience rushing and Greek life, and particularly Greek life at the University of Miami, because it definitely is very, very different than Greek life at other schools, particularly other big Southern type schools. I think UMiami Greek life, one, is a really good experience, and I think you should kind of just try it, even if you don't think that would be like your cup of tea. Like for example, me, like I was pretty skeptical. I know that I'm not the sorority type. I'm not like that Southern sorority girl. I just knew that I would not be the type of person who wants to go to frat parties and just be super involved in a sorority and stuff. And I decided anyway though to rush because it was my first semester on campus and I didn't know anyone, and I thought it'd be a good way to kind of meet friends and stuff. I actually did know one person, and she had rushed and done Greek life, and she honestly literally convinced me to do it, and she to this day is my G-Big. So my rush was on Zoom, which now it's back to normal, which once again, I can't give any advice on the normal like rush process because mine was on Zoom. And then last year when I was a recruiter, which is kind of obviously on the opposite side, that was also on Zoom last year. So I really don't know what real rush is like. But I can tell you that overall it was a pretty good experience. I kind of went into it just like not having too much pressure on it. I didn't really care. Like if I didn't like any of them, I just wasn't gonna do it. And if I liked one, you know, I'd try it out. And I always knew that I could drop if I didn't like it or whatever. But I was like, this is just good experience. I'm just gonna talk to people, meet new people, and that'll be it. So I did not have any expectation. I did not have any pressure. I think I did kind of like have a couple of the sororities. There's not a lot of sororities at UM. I think there's like 5 or 6 or whatever. But I had a couple that I was like, ooh, I like these ones. Judging only by the Instagram, I was just like, their Instagram is the coolest. I'm gonna see if I would fit with these ones. And I actually ended up not liking kind of talking. Oh, the girls were great and stuff. I just ended up like, I just didn't feel like I clicked. It didn't feel natural when I was talking to them. So I ended up like dropping one of them my first day, and then at the very end, like the very last recruitment setting, it was between that one and the one I'm currently in, and I ended up dropping that one and went with the one I'm currently in. So I don't know, I think it can kind of surprise you, so try to keep the most open mind possible. I think for me, because I had no friends, like I didn't have a freshman friend group because I wasn't on campus that first year. I had no friends who were like swaying me to go one way. I know you're not supposed to kind of know what your friends are leaning towards and stuff, but if all of your friends are like going to one sorority and leaning towards this one sorority and you get dropped or you don't like it or whatever it may be, that kind of like, I feel like that would really suck, because all your friends are gonna go Zeta or whatever and you're like, oh, but I want to go SDT. So I could see how that could be hard, but I really think like don't freak out about the whole friend situation. I think what's weird about, not weird, but it's almost cool, but like college friendships are kind of strange because I think they kind of change and like they can fizzle out with like no drama at all. It can kind of just be like, you know, you meet so many new people in college and stuff like that I don't think like the first person you meet in college is gonna be your, sometimes it works out that way where that's your like lifelong friend, but I think you really got to keep an open mind when like forming friendships and hanging out with people. Just say yes to hang out with everyone, and eventually like over time you'll find, you know, who you click with the most and who you're friends with. And I think it kind of naturally changes and shifts and people drift away and people drift together. And so I don't think that's something that really needs to be, you don't really need to freak out over it. I like, in the end, you'll be fine. If friendships are shifting or you go to a different sorority than your friend group, like trust me, I think you will be fine. I just think it was nice that I kind of went in without any friends because I then had a really, really open mind. Going through the rush process, I mean, honestly, I don't really think I should even talk about this because I think recruitment is practically over by the time this video is out. But try not to freak out if you get dropped. I feel like it's kind of hard because getting dropped from a sorority, it's like you're being rejected, and rejection just in general isn't the most fun. And a lot of times you're not really being rejected on anything like personal to you. It's very much like, so I've been on like both sides. I've done the recruiting and I've been like the P&M or whatever you call it, like going through recruitment. And a lot of times we have to drop girls purely because like there's just like there's like a quota. We can't take a ton, and it's like, it's very rarely anything personal. So try not to take it too personal. And whatever works out, works out. Even if you end up not joining any sorority, trust me, like, you don't need to be in a sorority to have fun, to make friends, to, even if your goal is to go to frat parties, you'll be fine. You can go to frat parties and not be in a sorority. So trust me, you'll be good. Okay, I'm not trying to sound like annoying right now, but I actually did not get dropped from any sorority, which I think is a little weird. And I honestly think the reason that is because, which I think this might be horrible advice, because they're always like, just be yourself and stuff like that. And I think if you are yourself, that's like the best way to find who you click with. But I did the opposite. In every meeting I went into, I literally just tried to match the girl's energy and turn into like someone who I think she would like, which is probably horrible. So I was low-key being fake and most of my interviews and stuff. But then I was like, okay, well, which one felt like true to my core self? And then I chose that sorority, and I'm an 80 Pi, if you guys didn't know. Another thing is, though, I'm actually not really that involved in Greek life. Like, I think it's great. It was really great. I met my best friend through Greek life. My big, her name's Alex. She's my best friend, and I met all of my friends through her. So it like worked out for the best, but I really am not that involved. And I don't know, I don't really like to go to any events. I don't like to go to any frat parties. I also always have class during like the chapter meetings, which happen every week. So I'm really not involved at all. The only thing that like I was really involved in is I was elected the digital marketing specialist. So I ran all of the social media for a year. And then I was really involved in that because that takes up a lot of time. But overall though, like, I don't know, I think it was good at the beginning of my college experience for making friends. And then like after about a year, it was like, Greek life isn't really for me. I have learned. I'm also very busy. I kind of started working and I have a lot of things going on, and it's just kind of not, like, it's very kind of low on my priority list. I really cherish all the friendships and I love the connections and all the girls are amazing. It's just I don't have a lot of time for it, so I'm not super involved and I don't really like love it. And I honestly would drop, but I'm not gonna drop because I graduate in a year and I kind of am not very involved, and I just can stay in it and just stay this uninvolved and I'll be fine. But not trying to discourage you from rushing. I do think it's a good experience, and a lot of people love to be really involved and are super involved, and I think that's great. And who knows, that could be you. I'm like shocked that I even got involved enough to be the digital marketing specialist. So try to just stay as like chill and calm about it as possible. I also think though that's my personality. I tend to be quite chill and calm about stuff like that and not really care. But if you are the opposite and you really do care, just know that everything will work out kind of for a reason. So if you don't end up getting what you want or whatever, trust me, in like a year, you'll realize that this worked out for a good reason. I will say one of my favorite things about sororities is that like we don't have houses, we don't have sorority houses, but that doesn't mean that our dues, which is like when you pay to be in a sorority, they are typically cheaper than like Southern school sororities that have like houses and people live at, and I know that their dues are like crazy expensive. So that's nice at least. But we have suites on campus, which are kind of just like big rooms. There's like tables in them, like a little kitchen, big couch, TV and stuff. And I love hanging out in the suite because it's right near all my classes. I live off campus. I live in Brickell, so I live far away. So it's really nice to be able to hang out in a really chill area that's not like the library or something. Like I can relax on the couch and like watch TV between classes and stuff like that. So that is really nice. Okay, I think that's all I want to talk about in regards to Greek life. I think the next thing I'm going to talk about, how I got into umiami. Now I think I've made a video about this before, and I think I gave like, it was like when I was a freshman, you guys, so I'd probably like go back and watch it. I think I was living in Lakeside when I posted that video, which is crazy. But I will give you the rundown on how I got into Miami. I actually think Miami's getting more competitive to get into, meaning like you really got to be on top of things in regards to like your college application and your resume and all that type of stuff. And I'm also a junior now, so I kind of forget what I did in high school, honestly, that got me into Miami. I know I applied early, not like the binding early one, but like the unbinding one. I applied early. I got deferred at first. And then I got accepted, and then I was accepting, my choices were between UF and umiami, and I chose umiami, which UF is technically a better school, but umiami is like, I don't know, the campus, the connections, the location, everything is just way more up my alley, and I'm really glad that I chose UM. And I actually came into college like pre-med, pre-physical therapy, which at UF, that would have been really, really good. So I was like, I don't know why I chose UMiami, but I'm really glad it worked out because I ended up switching to marketing, and I literally ended up meeting like my current boss. I ended up meeting so many people and so many amazing connections. So really glad I chose UMiami. All of my high school scores were really, like, I really had to emphasize those on my college applications because they were really good. Like, I had a really good GPA. I think it was like a 4.4, and I think I had a pretty good SAT. It was like either a 1400 or like a 1390 or something. I don't entirely remember. I think in the video I filmed where I like told my scores, I like actually had them in front of me, which is good. But I think those scores are pretty high for UMiami. So if you're much lower than that, still I wouldn't like rule out coming here, because I do think that if you have a really good, well-rounded application, you're good. I think having a really good essay and having like a really well-rounded application that shows you were really involved is another way if you have like a lower GPA or lower scores in general. I was pretty involved too, like early in high school, and then I switched high schools mid high school, and I was a little bit more uninvolved, but I started working. So I don't know, I kind of tried to just make it sound like I was super involved and invested and into all these cool things, when in reality I really wasn't. But I think UMiami kind of really looks for that. But I think my scores are on the higher side of UMiami, so don't let that discourage you. People always ask about the rich kid culture at UMiami. I don't know, I've talked about this a lot too. Like, it is prevalent because UMiami is a private school. The tuition is really expensive, so a lot of people who come here are from wealthier families. I really don't think, like, I know there are people at UM who are like this. I'm sure there's people who are like just rich, bratty kids and stuff, but I really have not talked to that many. Everyone I talk to seems pretty down to earth, pretty like grateful to be here and grateful for the connections and the support and all that stuff they have from their families or whatever. And they all seem like they're really hardworking and trying to use all the opportunities and advantages that they've been given. Overall, I would say it's good. I definitely think it is a strange environment compared to normal colleges, because it is so normal and very common to be going out to really nice dinners. You don't want to be involved in that, like, you don't have to be, but I don't know, that is very common. Not everyone is like crazy rich, but there are like a lot of crazy rich people as well. So I don't know, I think it's just like the percentage of like rich people that are there is like much higher than normal schools, and it is noticeable. But at the same time, I've never like been around anyone who's like a horrible, like that stereotype horrible like rich bratty kid. My best tips for kind of like staying mentally healthy and just like overall healthy in college: one, establish routine. Try to establish a night routine and a morning routine that, you know, don't have you going to bed at 3 a.m. talking to friends or whatever, or going out a ton. And try to have routines that like get you in the gym and get you to go outside and be in the sun. I think at UMiami, honestly, it's pretty easy to be in the sun because you can go to the beach and you can go to, literally you can tan on campus and stuff. But I think like those health and wellness routines are super important in college, and really prioritizing them is important. In regards to school and grades, being organized, whether it's a planner, I use Google Calendar on my computer. That is definitely key. I think it's hard because like some majors, like let's say you're like an investment banking major or like pre-med or whatever, like you have to kind of have good grades. And that is like super important. So honestly, there's gonna be plenty of times where you're probably gonna have to sacrifice your physical health or your friends or your mental health even to get those grades, which kind of sucks. Whereas I'm a marketing major, and I also kind of tend to have a more entrepreneurial mindset, that my grades, honestly, in college was the first time I ever really experienced failure in regards to grades. I also have experienced some like really bad mental health stuff in college, and a bit before college and stuff, and I was working through like a lot of personal stuff, especially towards, ooh, camera just turned off. But I was saying I was working on a lot of really difficult personal stuff when I first came to UM, and my grades like suffered a lot. Like I'd never really had bad grades in high school and stuff, but I had some very bad grades at first in college, and I was essentially pre-med, so it was like a bit discouraging. And I feel like once I got a few bad grades, it almost spiraled me downward, and I entered this like failure mindset where I was like, well, I suck, I can't even do this, like there's no way I'm ever gonna succeed at anything. And then, you know, things go even further downhill. So trying to kind of work on that mindset is important. Like I think I have a lot more failure resilience now. For me, like going to therapy is really huge. I kind of prioritize my mental health and my like personal growth and like personal stuff almost over my schoolwork, which I think for certain majors and what you want to do in your life, honestly, is not the best. Like you can't always do that. But for what I want to do, I'm a marketing major now and stuff. I'm already working and stuff, and sometimes I do prioritize that over my schoolwork. I think I still get really good grades, but I'm not holding myself to that standard where I don't need to get straight A's. And I'm fine not getting that. As long as I'm doing fairly decent and trying and still kind of learning in class, I think that's kind of fine for me. I think kind of finding hobbies, getting into the gym, learning how to do stuff on your own is super huge. I feel like that's what most people struggle with. I struggle almost with the opposite, which I also think is kind of weird. I am super, super comfortable doing things alone, and I love my alone time. I'm definitely a bit more introverted, but like I would go to the beach alone. I literally would do so many things alone my freshman year. Even now, I do a ton of things alone, and I have to push myself on the other side of the spectrum and try to be more social, try to meet more people, try to go out more, try to do those things, which I feel like most people struggle with the opposite. So I would say make sure you're having alone time. I think it's so important. I also think it's really easy to be influenced by friends and stuff, and during this time you're kind of figuring out what you want to do, and if you have just a little bit of alone time every week, I think that kind of helps you like shift through your thoughts and kind of realize, what do I actually want to do and stuff. So having alone time is crucial. Your freshman year and stuff, like I would say now I'm insanely busy and I have no free time, but your freshman year, like for sure, I feel like I had a lot of free time. I think once again, like hanging out with people, meeting friends, making connections, all that type of stuff is great. I also think like kind of trying to find side hustles and stuff that you're passionate about and that you like, and I think it can also help you career-wise learn what you kind of want to do in life. I think that's good. I think making your space, whether it's like literally a dorm or an apartment, whether you have a ton of roommates or not, making your space super comfortable to you and making your space feel like home is super, super important. I also think keeping your space clean is super important. I don't care if you're like kind of messy and you don't like mind the clutter, keep your space clean. Make your bed. It's like not that hard. Start your day off well. And I think it is so important to keep your space clean. I think that's kind of all I want to talk about today. There's like so much more I could talk about. So if you have any particular questions or like things you want me to talk about, let me know and I'll make like a part 2 or another video. But yeah, love you guys. I love these sit down videos. I think they're so fun. So I would love to film more. And I will see you in the next video, which will probably be a vlog.